Welcome back to the channel. This channel is dedicated to new writers and those pursuing becoming published authors, whether that's self-published or traditionally published. And we've been looking at software that you can download for under $30 that works on a desktop without an internet connection, and we are currently on part 3 of this series. In part 1, we looked at Storyweaver and Brightway Pro. In part 2, we looked at New Novelist 3 and Snowflake Pro. Today, we're going to look at 2 other softwares, Celtx and YWriter 7. We're going to go through these relatively quickly, and we might delve into them farther in future videos. The first one we're going to look at is Celtx. Celtx is designed more for screenwriters or those writing scripts or storyboarding for other types of media. However, it is available for free, and there is a template within it that is for novels. So we are going to look at it. Some writers do use it. So the version we're going to look at is 2.9.1, which is available from various download sites, including Softonic and FilePlanet. Use your own judgment when using these download sites. I am not recommending either one of them or discouraging you from downloading from either one of them. I haven't had any problems, but you could. So be careful when you're downloading from any site. There is a new paid version from Celtx.com. It's a subscription model, and it is used on an online basis. So it kind of falls outside of the realms of what we're doing today. So we're not going to look at that version. We're looking at the older 2.9.1. Let's open it up real quick and just see some of what it has to offer. Right away when you open it, you can see at the very bottom there is a template for novel, and that's what we're going to look at. It opens up into an editor window. You don't start off with typing in this window. You do a few other things before you get there. In the template, they have the master catalog, novel, and sketch. This viewport here is the editor or the novel. Sketch is simply an area where you can quickly outline how you think your set would look and where your characters might be within your space. This is more useful for screenwriters, and if you need to do this, then I would suggest an actual sketch pad rather than trying to do it in software. When you start the program, it's probably a good idea to start with your master catalog, where you can start adding in things like your characters. So we're going to quickly put in a couple of characters, like Sally, just so you can see what it looks like. You can put Sally's full name, and you can give her a description, add some media tags, and if you were doing a screenplay, here would be where you could identify which actor would be playing the part of Sally. We're going to add another character very quickly. We'll just add his name. And we will also add our sets. I use sets here for the spaces where my scenes take place. So I want the office where Sally works, where I can add a description. And I'm also going to quickly add a set for her apartment. And maybe the only thing I need to know about the apartment is that it is a 2-bedroom. I can sort this list by the category or even the description or the name So that can be useful for keeping track of your characters. There are other things you can add, such as the wardrobe, vehicles that might show up, props that might show up, and you can use whatever parts of this that you might find helpful. Then you would go over to the novel section, and the novel section is where you would start putting in information about your various chapters or scenes. And this is done through your index cards. So let's add a couple of index cards, one for chapter 1, and we will add another one for chapter 2. Now the default when you start adding is the notes section, and if you toggle this button you show the contents section. So here we're going to give our 2 chapters actual names. And chapter 2. And you can see down here you can identify what plot line these chapters or scenes belong to. Then when you go back to the editor, you see now I have 2 headings for my 2 chapters. I can click here and simply start writing my chapter. Sally goes to work and gets fired. And chapter 2, Sally goes home. Then you can go to your index cards, and you do have the ability to shuffle those around, and your editor moves your text to match. There are other features that are available, like the title page where you can fill in information, and as you work with it, I'm sure that you will find other things beneficial as you're planning your novel. So that is a Celtx, and I'm not going to save this, but it is again available from various download sites for free. It's version 2.9.1. Now let's look at the second software, YWriter 7. YWriter is also available for free. You can download a demo version and then register it by simply giving an email address, and then you have the full version for free. It is available for Mac, Windows, and Linux, although the Linux version is version 5, where Celtx was only available for Windows. So let's open YWriter and take a look at it. When you first open this program, it can be a little confusing, but you can start with the new project wizard that just has you give it a name, the author, and decide where you want to save the file. Then you can start, much like with Celtx, of entering things like your characters. We will add a new character here. Let's put Sally into this software. Put Sally's full name. And you can put Sally's description. You can also put in a bio for Sally, notes, her goals, and a picture. Now we'll add another new character. Let's go ahead and put Landon in here. You can do the same for him. And we will add one more character. We will add Sally's boss, Alvin. Now I can go to the view edit here, and I have a list of my characters, and this is where I could go back and edit them. In this case, I forgot to say that Sally was a major character, so I will change that and say OK. I could also use the same window to add some of the other things I might want to add, such as items. Let's add that in. Let's put a disk drive in here. And we'll add our 2 locations as well. The office, where you have the option of also adding a picture. And we will also add the apartment. So now we have some characters, locations, and an item. We can start adding some of our chapters, so let's do that. Chapter 1, this was Bad Boss, where Sally gets fired. And we will add a second chapter for the travel here. Now I have 2 chapters, and I can select which one I want to work on, and I can start adding scenes. So you have 2 sections here. One of them is for your content, your actual manuscript, and the other is more for notes. So I will just put here what's going on. Sally gets fired. And then I can go into the details, adding the goal that Sally is trying to get, whether it's plot or subplot importance, an action reaction. You can rate the different qualities of the scene right here. And you can even add the characters that show up. In this case, Sally and her boss are both part of the scene. You can give the location and add notes, pictures into your scene. And then you can save that. Now we have a new scene for chapter 1. If we go to chapter 2, there's no scenes, so we could start adding scenes for chapter 2. You also have a place to put project notes, see your characters, your locations, and your items in this software. There are tools for doing a storyboard where you can see your scenes for each of the characters. And there is some word usage count, the ability to do reports, and to localize the information. For your own language. And there are some links to help. You can add in a brief synopsis if you want. There's a lot to explore in this software. Again, this software is available from spacejock.com. It's free. It's available for Mac, Windows, or Linux, and I think it has quite a bit to offer for somebody that is working through their story. So that is Why Writer 7. Thank you for joining me for part 3. Come back next time and we will look at even more software that you can get for under $30.